Good evening, everybody. It's like I hear crickets.
Yeah.
Do you hear crickets? This is the Family Biz. This is the show. You're at the right place at the right time. If you just popped in and popped on, we're talking about serial entrepreneurship. No one actually, you know what? Not serial entrepreneurship. Everybody can't be a serial entrepreneur. We're talking about dreaming again. We're talking about entrepreneurship again. This is a place that we build generational wealth, not just for ourselves, but for our families. I'm your host, Kevin Impeccable Peck. I feel like I'm out the screen, baby. It's my wife. Oh, my DJ stuff is over there. See, things happen when you're in quarantine. This is my beautiful wife, Dana Peck. How are you this evening?
Doing awesome.
My family, doing business together. I got my homeboy, Tally.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Boom.
There you go. There you go. You gotta bring me on. Ladies and gentlemen.
You needed the reveal, baby. How are you this evening?
I'm wonderful, man. Just trying to deal with all the stuff going on in the world. So a lot happened over the weekend. I've been watching special after special on Chadwick Boseman and
Black Panther now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
To bad news in 1 second.
No, that's not bad news at all. I mean, it was all good to me. I think the brother's life, he lived his life in a wonderful way. Not in any way is it bad news, as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely.
I just learned something about, when they're giants that walk amongst us. So I didn't look at it in one way as being bad. We all just here for a little while, bro. That's why if I didn't tell you, I love all of you today, right? So
absolutely,
so you said why they're here.
I remember our old bishop was at a funeral one time and somebody died young and everybody was like, why him? And I think his sermon was, why not?
Why not him?
Why not? Right. And I mean, maybe you didn't look at it like that, but everybody doesn't know what's going to happen the next day. So today, tell somebody you love them. Don't hold back on your dreams or what you have going on in life and push forward. We're talking about entrepreneurship. We have a fantastic guest tonight. We're going to introduce him in a minute, but that's near and dear to your heart. Why don't you give an overview of those who are budding entrepreneurs or been entrepreneurs or just the overview of entrepreneurship?
Actually,
I'm
sharing statistics about entrepreneurship. So that is, I guess, kind of an overview. And there are 582 million entrepreneurs in the world. And 25 million Americans are starting or running their own business, and 62% of U.S. billionaires with a B are self-made.
Say what?
Yes, and 22.5% of small businesses, they say, fail in the first year, but 72% of Black-owned businesses are profitable.
What? That's a high number.
Yes, which has increased by 5% from the prior year. And studies show that middle-aged men start the most successful businesses, but 35% of Black business owners are women. And with 23% more women than average, Black entrepreneurs remain one of the demographics with the highest ratio of women to men year over year. And 60% of people who start businesses are between the ages of 40 and 60, but with Black entrepreneurs, that kind of skews a little bit younger. Black business owners are 59% more likely to be millennials. And
go millennial.
Yes. And you know what the greatest motivation is for being an entrepreneur?
What?
To be your own boss.
To be your own boss.
To be your own boss. 95% of entrepreneurs have at least a bachelor's degree. And 80% of small businesses survive the first year. And 69% of American entrepreneurs start their businesses from home. And these statistics are from a blog called Mark and Blog, and also from Guidant Financial. So that are some of the statistics about
business is about statistics. Are you falling in those numbers? If I didn't say it, if we popped up on the Afro-American newspapers platform, we broadcast here Family Biz for over the last year, just highlighting different industries, different personalities, different specialists, different causes, different ways of thinking, different thoughts, different models of business. And we've been it's somebody out there who needs what we have. And if you don't share it, so if you see the share button, you might not have been meant to stay all night, but maybe you just meant to share with somebody who is just frustrated in their life. Maybe they want to push forward in their life. Maybe they just want something new. So just hit the share button. I'm going to do the same and share it with a page that you own or a page that you manage. The Afro-American newspaper has been inspiring, educating, and informing generations, 128 years of business. They fall into that statistic, right, of 72% that have managed to really do it. You were sending me some things. I don't think I can get them right now. So maybe if you want to read some, or maybe I can just glance over on your screen. And 7 signs you know you have entrepreneurship in your blood. Just pay attention here. All right, let's see if I can read without my glasses here. You have a purpose of life, right? The first and foremost quality is you have a purpose. You have found your purpose. You're a positive looker. Positive looker. Huh.
Well, you know, like people.
They look at things.
You have a positive slant.
Okay,
you know, you're optimistic.
I'm getting this real time, people.
You're
Don't worry about it. That's why entrepreneurs.
Well, think about yourself, because this is you, right?
Right. Here. You have principles and ethics, right? It's a certain code you live by, a certain way you're going to do business, and the certain values that you do. You is your blood boiling yet? You have interpersonal skills. You like to, you like dealing with people. You're going to have to deal with people if, in fact, you're going to be in business. You're going to have to learn to talk to people, communicate, understand, find out what the problem is, and solve it. Trust others. You have to be able to trust somebody, because a lot of entrepreneurs want to be control freaks. They want to do everything by themselves and don't realize that a good system that Tally always tells us about is getting that right system together. And when you think about it, you got electrical systems, you got solar systems, you got sewage systems, all of these systems that operate, but can you operate in a business system? And are you a risk taker? Are you just going to think about it for the rest of your life? Or are you going to really just get off of the curb and go ahead and do it? Why does it have to be the curb? Well, you're just going to get out your room, because the pandemic has us going to just different rooms in our house right now. For those, there's some people out there who are traveling and stuff, but man, keep your mask on. Anyway, we have a great guest tonight. Are you going to do it? I'll let you do it. I mean, I know him personally. He's one of our fraternity brothers. For anybody out there and a member of Kappa Alpha Psi, shout out to the Noose. We have a serial entrepreneur, leader. I'll call him a dream merchant. Brother Andre Vaughn joining us. I could give you a list of everything, but he inspires people to do more than they think they can do and to be great. I had a chance to meet him at a meeting, 90 for Life one time, and I've been taking 90 for Life. Andre, I'm going to bring you on. Andre, how are you? Welcome to the show.
How are you doing, my friend?
let me give you the network marketing. Can you hear me clearly? I want to know, that's before all of these video calls. Everybody used to be like, can you hear me clearly? That was just a sign. That's back when you could be butt naked and just taking all your calls and doing all your business. But now, it's going to be a Zoom. You're like, oh, man. It's come to a point that we don't want to Zoom anymore. And welcome to the family biz, where you are family, brother. I wish I could just give you, the grip. But, this is the hug that I get when I haven't seen people. And, I generally haven't seen you in a while. And, man, it's good to see you.
Man, good to be seen and not viewed. Man, I'm fired up to be on the show with your lovely wife, your better half. Girl, I'm telling you, and Tal, it's just a good format. I'm so appreciative you didn't call it robbery for me to be a guest on your show.
Man, it's the family business. You've been helping families for a lot of years, and it started from entrepreneurship. We're gonna kind of just get into a little fireside conversation.
Let me give him the proper intro. I know he's your boy.
Okay, well,
can I give him the proper intro?
Hold on. Let me take him back off. Go ahead.
We're honored tonight to have Mr. Andre Vaughn, and I learned a lot from reading your bio, Mr. Vaughn. He actually started off as a second grade teacher in the Baltimore City public school system.
Wow.
And he was kind of at a crossroads in that time of his life, and he caught a sermon called, "If you want to walk on water, you got to get out the boat." What's interesting is I did a study on that title too. But it was very motivational to him, and he saw his opportunity to step out on faith, which he did. And he opened his first business, which was a credit repair business. And he did that out of where? They said most businesses are out of a home. In this case, it was his mother's basement where he started his first business. And then he got the real estate bug, and he learned he can open his own real estate company. And during his career in real estate, then he translated and transferred into horse ownership, thoroughbred horses. And he even won a stakes race, even though they said, your horse needs to go. I guess he didn't listen. Then he won. And then he became an expert in network marketing, which takes a very special person to manage people and motivate them and to build an amazing team and continue that. So he has reached the highest levels in several businesses. And so now he's known for his inspiration and trainings. And and if that isn't enough, he ventured off into professional sports and currently is the owner of the DMV Warriors, which is a semi-professional league, which is part of the ABA league. And hey, they reached the Final Four, in the 2016-2017 season. And he's also a family man and is the father of 2 twin-year-old girls. So welcome officially, Andre Vaughn.
I need a clap machine. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's how we want to give you your flowers. There you go, brother. Welcome back to the family biz. If you just tuned in, we're talking about entrepreneurship. We have one of our good friends and business tycoons on with us just to drop some nuggets, get you to dream again, get your blood boiling about entrepreneurship. Mr. Andre Vaughn, tell Tally.
Yes, sir.
You and Mr. Vaughn have a common thread besides Kappa Alpha Psi with your dad.
Yeah. I was telling Impeccable earlier. Our fathers pledged Baltimore alumni together years ago.
Wow.
On the same line, and like Impeccable said, I had the opportunity of meeting Brother Vaughn during the 90 for Life days or a couple things. Now I'll talk about that a little later because it's something that he did that I probably will never forget. In one of the exercises that he did. So we'll discuss that a little bit. So it's always a pleasure. And anybody knows our fraternity, the fundamental purpose of Kappa Alpha Psi is achievement. And this brother has achieved. And, I see him all the time on Facebook and see what's going on in his life, his anniversaries, his twin sister's birthday with him, all that kind of stuff. So follow him closely. And not all, like Impeccable said, not always give you your flowers. But no matter if you agree what he does or not, he stays active. And he believes in his dreams, and he has an infectious personality, and he's about the people business. And as I said, I was saying in the back office, one thing you'll notice, even when you look at people, they've been talking about, Chadwick Boseman passing stuff, is to be young, gifted, and black. And that's been sort of my theme tonight, to be young, gifted, and black. And so, I kind of want to go on that theme, and I wanted to kind of start off because and talking to you, Brother Vaughn, because it seems as though, we all have the same thing when we start. And that is we go to school, get a job. Go to school, get an education, get a job to make somebody else rich. Right. And even in, I guess, your younger days, you felt a calling of helping people. So to go into, and I commend anybody can go into the school systems and be a teacher and work in that environment because it takes a special person. So I kind of wanted to, just briefly in terms of what was that transition like? To go from the school system into your first entrepreneurial, and I know the sermon, Dana said the sermon kind of motivates you, but what was that triggering point to be even receptive to a sermon? Because sometimes we hear things all the time and it never gets, that probably wasn't the first time you heard something about it, but that was the time that grabbed your attention. So what was going on maybe in your life that might be going on in somebody else's life that you were kind of ready and said, I've opened my mind to that right now?
Well, that's a good question, man. I just tired of struggling. I said, man, I went to college and went through high school and getting grades and then got a master's degree, and I was struggling. There was a lot of month at the end, but no money. And I was I'm a big Ravens fan, and I was going to the games, and what I noticed is that when we went on road games, it was a different atmosphere. I saw the same people at the same games away. And I'm like, man, I just started studying them. And, one big major impact is, having another fraternity brother, Sekou Gary, and, going to his daddy's parties and to see the caliber of people there, and everybody's handing out business cards. And I had to go get my business cards. I ain't have nothing on them. I was like, I made it, fake it till you make it. And I was just there and I was like, man, I need to be an entrepreneur. Teaching, you're helping people, right? And in entrepreneurship, you're still helping people. you're not just helping yourself, you're helping other individuals. So when I heard that sermon, if you want to walk on the water, you got to get off the boat. That was for me. And he even said, talking about I'm a teacher. I said, oh, Lord, that's definitely me. I never, I was crying my eyes out, man. I was crying like, it's me. I got to step out. And so I made a decision. Normally teachers, folks who don't manage their money, right? Normally teachers, we always teach summer school. So my first step that summer, I told my principal, I said, I'm not teaching this summer. And he was shocked. I said, no, I'm not teaching this summer. I'm going to have to figure it out. And I told him, I said, don't put me on the roll for next year because I'm not going to show up either. And he didn't believe me. I mean, he didn't believe me. And I said, don't put me on the roll. I'm telling you, because you're going to have a vacancy in second grade, and so he didn't put me on the roll. He believed me. And that's how I got started in entrepreneurship. And I figured, man, if I'm struggling with a 40-hour job, man, I might as well own my own life and own my own time and figure it out.
Right. So, that's the thing you ended with time, because a lot of people don't realize that the most valuable asset on this planet is time. Right now we get paid for our time. And so you trade 40 hours of work to receive a paycheck. And you have to, and I guess I want to talk to you about it because in my story is a little different because, as the theme is to be young, gifted, and Black, sometimes when you work in corporate America in different places, we have a different experience, especially when we go to HBCUs, right? And then when we go to work for these people, the culture is a lot different, and I tell people all the time is like, I never wanted to assimilate into anybody else's culture because I loved my culture. Growing up, East Baltimore, going to Poly, having a good time, went to Morehouse, then to Morgan, finished. I didn't get my culture shock until I went into corporate America. Then it was kind of like, well, you don't quite hold the pencil correctly. Well, you did well and you're in the top 10%, but da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And it was like, wow, there's a disconnect here. You know what I mean? I'm not having as much fun doing it. So we all get our path to how we walk. So, I want to work for myself, but there's a lot of fear in that. So I wanted to talk to you about, I guess, wealth principles, because sometimes when you go into entrepreneurial endeavors, what made you, and I guess I kind of understand the credit repair, but what made you go, and let's kind of combine together, credit repair and then real estate? Why did you choose that right away as a place that you would plant your flag, as to say?
The crazy thing is how I got into credit restoration is actually my credit was messed up. And I had hired someone to fix my credit. And after I gave him that money, I didn't see him anymore. And, let me rephrase that. He didn't answer my phone calls. And so, I had Monique, I had her call him and act like she was a new client. And, a crook, when they think they get new money. So I remember having her saying that she was going to meet at Bennigan's. And instead, I called my dad. I said, Dad, I might be locked up today. Just be ready to bail me out. Because if this dude don't give me my money, it's going to be a problem. And so when he came to Bennigan's, sure, shooting, boy, I was right there and crossed my legs and said, hey, my friend. I won't say his name. I said, hey, my friend. And he had this look like, and it was a Bank of America right within walking distance, right next to that.
Remember.
So, we did the little walk of shame right to that ATM machine, and he gave me my money. And I said, man, there's a lot of people who could do this service. I want to make sure that I take care of people, and I learned that industry. And once I got into credit restoration, I helped so many clients, and I was referring them to real estate agents, but they weren't taking care of my clients as 7-star treatment like I like to give people. And so I started looking, and I got into mortgages first. My brother, we had a mortgage operation, which led into real estate. I was going real estate just to be an investor, and all the realtors were stealing my deals. They wasn't coming back to me. So I went to real estate school just to get access to the MLS. And I didn't know, the best thing I learned when I was in the real estate school, that I didn't have to be a broker to own a company. So I started a company right in real estate school, and I hired a broker to work for me. And we had 40 agents that worked in our brokerage, and we did big business, and it was a phenomenal ride.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about that, because it seems as though, and Dana said at the beginning, it's not really, sometimes we like to pigeonhole ourselves and say serial entrepreneur. But I look at skill sets where you can pivot, right? Because when we're in a pandemic, and there's, Impeccable always says, when you can solve a problem, you can make money. So there's a problem out there, and the problem for you was that somebody wasn't giving good customer service. The problem for you is that people stealing your business. The problem for you was whatever it may be. So you learn how to solve that problem, and the money or whatever may come to be able to do what you're doing. So let's look at how you feel comfortable with pivoting with your skill set. So is there a basic skill set that you took from credit restoration into real estate, into saying, I'm going to now own my own? Because, you know, sometimes there's levels in this game, right, of entrepreneurship. It's one thing to say kind of like I do entrepreneurial things. It's one thing to say I sign the checks. You know, and I have the business and I hire employees and I got taxes I got to pay and I got to have a payroll system. That takes on a whole nother entrepreneur, because then you're providing jobs for other people. So can you talk a little bit about what you thought or didn't think about the skill set you might have? And did each thing kind of piggyback on itself, or how did you feel comfortable in doing more and taking more and more on your plate?
The crazy thing is that when you take care of enough people, and it's all circled around of serving people. And everything I've done, it was based on serving people. Even in the horse racing industry, it was serving people, making sure I was trying to give somebody an opportunity. And so one of the skill sets that I never wanted, the customer's always right. That was just something that I lived by. Even if they were dead wrong, they was always right. I always, when they left, even if they were upset, I wanted to make it right for them. I remember waiting tables back in the day at Red Lobster. And I remember a lady was just so disgruntled. And she said, you know, just don't look like the picture, you know, and Red Lobster. And her family was like embarrassed. And I said, ma'am, do you look like all your pictures? Her family was just dying. And they gave me one of my biggest tips. And relating with people. And that's what I've always tried to do. Like, I want more. Like, and when you dream, like certain things just align in the atmosphere. But you have to be smart enough to put people around you that are more talented than you, that are more smarter than you, that hide your weaknesses. And you got to be comfortable with letting them go in the front and you go in the back. And then when it's time for you to take the lead, and they then go in the back. And so I've just learned to build a great team. So everything I've done, I've built the team around me, and they were some superstars. They just made me look good. And a lot of times I've gotten credit, you know, really for things that they've done, but they didn't care. They just pushed me out in front. And so that's kind of how I've been all throughout my life. And so I just make sure I take care of people, and the rest will take care of itself.
Yeah. You know, one of the things that I said I would talk about a little later, one of the things I want to talk about is attitude, because when I had the pleasure of meeting you, or kind of, you know how you know people from around town and you see them around, but then when we kind of were faces one time, I think we were at the Pikesville Hilton, and you were doing a 90 for life. And, you know, I forgot what happened, but I think one of your line brothers we knew him a little better, and he started talking to Kevin and Impeccable and I in the hallway. And I'll never forget, and I put this with attitude, because sometimes when you get into entrepreneurial, mindset is very important. And a lot of people don't realize that from day to day, you're getting a lot of no's, this, that, and the other, or negative vibrations, as we will say, to come along. And in our conversation, I never forget, you were talking to us, but listening, they were about to announce you coming on. And like in a split second, you changed it. Hold on for a minute, guys. And you started beating your chest with a vibration. Yeah. And I remember that, and I was like, dude doesn't have Tourette's or nothing, right? Is he good? Like what's good? What's good with it? But when you hit that stage floor, I realized you were raising your vibration to meet the expectation in the room, and that changed it for me, because again, when I talked about skill sets earlier, it's a certain vibration that you have to be on when you motivate a motivation platform. So I wanted you to talk a little bit about that, because you talked about leadership and having a company, but I wanted you to talk about mindset a little bit and vibration of how you are when you have to be mentally, when you day after day have to talk and speak and motivate, write books, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, man, like, when I hit the stage, it's just, I pretend people are just like me. Like, I have ADHD. Like, if it ain't right, I get the fidgeting and doing all this. So when I come hit the stage, it's like I get focused so much. And I love playing Eye to Tiger Rocky. That's my music. And sometimes I don't even know what I'm about to say. And I'm like, Lord, please let it hit me. But I just get in this trance. And it's so crazy that I just turn into this other person. Sometimes it's like an outer body experience. And I go out and deliver and just talk to the hearts of the people, because I want, that might be somebody's last chance. You never know what people are going through. And I want to give them some encouragement to say, listen, I've been through potential foreclosures. I've been through bankruptcies. I've been through repossessions, voluntary and involuntary. I've been through all those things, but I never kept my mental and my physical in the same location. So if mentally if physically I'm struggling, best believe mentally I'm a millionaire on my way to being a billionaire. And so a lot of people keep their mental and their physical in the same location, and that's when depression sets in. And so when you really realize who you are and whose you are, then you just get excited. And like, that's why we have this whole aura, like turn it loose. Like, Dre, what does turn it loose mean? Like, turn everything that's due to me, turn it loose right now. I mean, I even got the little cha-ching. That's like, that helps the vibration. I got my girls, my twin girls saying turn it loose, my family, my business partners. And it's crazy because as people are talking about doom and gloom right now, it's like we turning it loose and we are having the time of our lives because we set that vibration. And when you set the vibration, things happen so fast. It just happens so rapidly. So you really can't get caught up in emotions, because when this thing happens again, something just like this, I want my whole crew to be able to write a check for a couple $1 million just to help people. See, if we all doom and gloom, what's going to happen next time? And so our mental and our physical, so physically it's messed up in this world, but mentally I'm not even here. I'm 10 years ahead of time. And so I'm excited about today because I'm not even looking at today. I'm looking at tomorrow. And so it is a vibration, and you got to get people around you. The worst thing you can be is an entrepreneur without the right supporting cast or without the actors around you. When you have the wrong people looking at the wrong things and communicating with the wrong stuff, it can mess up your vibration. I've seen it. I've seen money being messed up, businesses being messed up because they didn't think that the people around them was important, right? And so I make sure everybody stays on a high octane and that mindset. And like, it's just like I've been having the time of my life, and I just know that all of us are destined for greatness.
So how do you, when you're an entrepreneur, it consumes your life, and we'll talk a little bit about just personal, and then we'll kind of flip back. So it confuses your life, and like as I said, I've kind of watched on Facebook, and you involve your wife and your children and your sister, everybody kind of it catches on because this is something that you become, right? I mean, because a lot of times I think the worst thing we can do sometimes when we have a job, because we're always running to the weekend, so we don't have to go back. We dread going to work. One of the things I think is the craziest thing is you'll see it, and it kind of bothers me, but I understand. I have never seen so many teachers sometimes dreading going back to teach children sometime. It's like, why would you want to work somewhere where you praying for snow days? You don't want to be around them little monsters. I can't wait till school is over. I'm sick of this. And I guess everybody is like that on their job to some degree. They don't want to, when the Ravens play on Sunday, you hate going, you watch the Shy on Sunday night, and you dread to have your worst time going to work on Monday morning. But to have it as a part of your life, and to be an entrepreneur. So I wanted to talk about, when you talk about support, how special is family, I guess, to you and supporting you as well. And, in your businesses you've seen. Man,
that gets me emotional because, I hear so many people saying, man, my family don't support, my aunt don't support. And I haven't felt that. My mother, I remember, my 7-year network marketing anniversary, I said, Mom, what you gonna get me? And she said, what you gonna get me? Because I forgot she was the first one give me her credit card, not even known, but just rolling. And then we were buying homes. We were doing all these things together. And my twin, my brother, like we all, work together. And so when my wife, she got network marketing, my children, they holding folks accountable like, Daddy, why aren't you at this rank? Like, why aren't you being celebrated? Why, and so everybody holds everybody accountable in the family. And that's so important. And we're on the Family Biz Show. Like, we should be working on our 5-year plan, our 10-year plan, our 20-year plan, our family plan. And that's the problem, because nobody's talking about it. Nobody's planning. Right now, your great-great-grandchildren like, Granddaddy, what were you doing the biggest transfer of wealth? What were you doing? Picking your nose? And there's so many people that have lost it. They watch CNN all day. They watch the doom and gloom all day. And I'm like, they not putting the things on the news that's really going on. And it's like 95% of the population, they share 5% of the wealth. And 5% of the population control 95% of the wealth. And 95% of people right now, they looking at the doom and gloom. They all upset. They thinking the world is coming to an end, and the 5%ers are laughing. They're having a good time because they see their next 10 years, how their family is going to be straight for the rest of their lives. Anytime there's major distractions, just understand behind closed doors, there's a lot of other things that's going on, and you have to be hungry to get the information. Like, you have to research. There's enough YouTubes and enough Googling that you can do that you can find information if you're looking for it. But most people, they're not looking for it. You know, you see a negative video on social media, you see all of these views. Something positive like this show, it's a tenth of the views on there because people don't want to get the information. And I commend you guys and your show and your platform for providing the knowledge to the people.
So that gives me my next question. So, you know, they say if you want us to be successful, do what successful people do, right? So what are some of the things you do with consistency? Like, how much do you read? How much do you study? How much is family time? How do you coordinate? Because I mean, when you just made a comment about where you're going to be in 5 years, I'm sure 5 years ago, people weren't thinking about this pandemic. I've seen that on Facebook a couple times. Did you think 5 years ago we're going to be sitting in our basements doing Zooms and family business and all that? So we never know. But as I said, as you just said, it's so important that no matter what happens, God says we're conquerors, right? So we can pivot and switch, whether it's a Zoom. As long as I can get to you, we can still make it happen. So I wanted to see what kind of traits do you do to keep yourself prepared, whether it's spiritual, day-to-day, exercise, whatever. How do you keep that energy going, or what's your day like?
All that. Like, you know, I wake up, personal development, spiritual development, and it all depends on how the day is going or how the day before, how the week is going. Now, I might listen to 4 or 5 sermons. I might have praise and worship on one screen and a sermon on another screen and another sermon at the same time. Because sometimes, you know, when you're an entrepreneur, you come to places where you can feel your body shift and you got to shift it back. And so personal development, spiritual development is so key and critical. And then after that, definitely exercise and then make sure you're putting the right supplements in your body. We're boosting it all the way. And so I'm making sure I'm taking care of my health. And then I'm making sure sometimes before I do business, I'm making phone calls, checking on some family members just to see how they're doing. And then I start my day. You know, just past Sunday, you know, we read a chapter of, you know, something old back in the day, the Rich Kid, Smart Kid. So we were just like reading a chapter to our children and then let them hear a chapter and let them comment on it so we can get them in position, and we're not going to wait when they're 10 years old because they're entrepreneurs. They both have businesses. And so it's like you have to put the time in yourself. And so many people put all of the time in their job and in their family members, their children, and their spouse. And so they're giving, but they're not replenishing. And that's why they come up empty and they have depression and their money is funny and their change is strange because they're not investing in their greatest asset, which is themselves. And so when they learn to invest in the asset and take time out for themselves, so it's okay for you to leave your children home with somebody else if they're not of age and go do something for yourself. It's okay to go sit by the water and just read a book. It's okay to go to a nice restaurant, even if you don't want to order, you can't afford, and just order a salad and just be in the atmosphere. You got to learn to go to the right places for the right atmosphere. And so you can get that jolt in your body and go to the next level. But, you know, personal development is key and critical. Spiritual development is key and critical. You know, writing out your plan, building it 3 times, first in your mind, then writing it down on paper, and then taking action. So everything that you do, you have to learn to build it 3 times.
So let me ask you, so we're going to flip back a little bit to just your business. So, I mean, you know, when I was reading through, and I remember when years ago, I guess you got into the horse racing, because we have a mutual friend and a business partner of mine, Derek Owens. And he's like, can you believe this brother dealing with horses now or whatever? So that was the first time I heard about it when D told me. He was like, this brother dealing with horses. And we were like looking at each other like, I ain't know no black people deal with horses and run with horses and doing stuff like that. Like, where he get that from, you know? And it was like, you know, and so I guess when you go places, how do you evaluate, I guess, when you're getting into, because it's one thing, you know, like you say, you're an entrepreneur, and we knew you from the background of network marketing, but how do you get into something that's a little more structured or whatever in the industry, like horse racing or whatever? How did that come about?
Everything happens from experience. You know, I was talking to a childhood friend of mine and nobody was giving them horses. And I said, man, you know, I'll give you a shot once. And it just so happened that the first race we lost, I hated that feeling. You know, I felt crippled. I was like, man, this horse came in 5th place, right? But the next race, after we lost that race, I was like, man, I'm putting this horse, the same horse, in the stakes race. I mean, no, I want to run this horse back during the day before Preakness, the Black Eye Susan. So that day, it was in a lower level race. And that horse won in front of 100,000 people, and it just did something for me, right? But I always like to do something different. I mean, I have a video game company. I own a basketball league now, not just a team, but a basketball league. I just wrote a book. And so I like to get in different things and then just kind of learn from it, because everything that I do, remember, is circling around people. So it's easy to transfer skill to skill to skill. Now, if you don't know how to deal with people and service people, you're not going to have success, because everything I do, it has to involve people.
Right. Yeah. And that's important. So I was going to talk a bit about it. That some of it you love. Because I mean, I just mentioned, I could be wrong to say you ain't grow up around horses, but all of us grew up hooping or sports or whatever it may be. So how does it feel to own a basketball league, and where do you see that going? And let's flip it a little bit and talk about who you then employ, because one of the things, like you said, is being a service, you're going to have jobs for people that are, whether they playing ball, sweeping the floor, or doing whatever it is. So again, another avenue. So talk about just kind of that whole paradigm of owning a professional sports league.
It was crazy. And you know what? You just really enlightened me on something, because every time I get in something, it's because something I don't like how it was done. And so I was actually, a guy came to me and said, man, can you sponsor my team? And I said, yeah, I sponsor, put my logo on the jerseys. And I never forget going to the first game, and I'm thinking my logo's going to be everywhere. My drink's going to be, and I get there and I don't see my logo anywhere. And I didn't pay thousands upon thousands of dollars. I said, oh, wait a minute, sir, ma'am, who's the owners? Come on, let's huddle. And I said, where's my logos? I need to talk to the partners. He said, well, you my partner. I said, oh, no, I'm just a sponsor. And so I didn't even plan to own a basketball team, but because I'm trying to get my money back, because I didn't pay money, I said, well, I do like basketball. And that's kind of how I got into that. And so when I got in the league, I mean, every year we went to the Final Four. Every year out of 140 teams, we went to the Final Four until I noticed that the league weren't doing right things. And so that's what motivated me to start my own league. And, just to see the players, the guys, that's my connection to the community. That's something where I make a lot of money. That's something where I spend 6 figures at least a year on keeping it running. So that's my community service, because to be around the guys, to pay them for something they normally wouldn't get paid for, to extend their career, just to have them to look forward and taking them on the road to Jacksonville and Texas and feed them and all that stuff. That's just my God, right, on a bigger schedule, bigger scale. And, that's just how we were brought up. And that's my joy, because I had to ask myself, and I know Monique used to ask, like, why do you do that? You know what I mean? You're not even making no money. Like, why do you do that? But that's certain things that help me go when it comes to giving back to the community. So that's my big community service project for sure.
So Impeccable always says, and for his 50th, he handed out books. Everybody has a book in them, right? I mean, and I've been thinking for years I want to write a book, and I know the title, which I won't share, but because it's something that's near and dear right now. But it's like at some point I like to write a book. Who wants to hear me say anything about anything, until I have enough information. So I guess I wanted to ask you, in terms of, with all your life experiences, why was writing a book at this time so important to you now? And how's it doing, and what is it about, and that kind of thing?
Yeah, no, when you're going through, I felt like I was on top of the world. And I never forget, my wife and I get a letter from the FBI saying, you've been indicted. I'm like, indicted? I just couldn't even think about that. They were claiming that we didn't turn in a bank statement that we never used, didn't even know was open, no transactions. And I was so confused. But I remember from past people that I knew that you don't play with the federal government. You know what I mean? It's like they will smash you for 20 years, 50 years. And I got twin girls. And so I had to take a plea and go away to prison for 10 months and only had to do 7. But I'm like, wait a minute, I'm going from convention stages, speaking all over the world. And here I am at a predicament. And I never forget being in the courtroom, and the judge said, and asking the prosecution, she said, in 20 years, I've never seen anybody prosecuted for something like this. What am I missing? I just want to make sure Mr. Vaughn is not being singled out. But here's what I know, and this is where race comes to a part. There's two different ball games when it comes to the courtroom, and I've seen it. And I had to make a grown person decision. I said, man, am I going to be away? I have a chance to be away from my family for 20 years, or am I just going to say, you know what, you got it? And this is how you know it's so bad. Is because I didn't even have any restitution. When you do something wrong, you're going to pay some money. You know what I mean? Whatever you took, you pay it back, whatever. No restitution, no nothing. And I'm just so grateful that everybody in my corner, all the people I did business, I didn't lose any business. I didn't lose anything. People supported me. They was like, we got you back. This is horrible. And, you know, I could have been, you know, protesting. I could have been picketing. I could have been doing all this. I could have been bitter. But what I did is I made a conscious decision while I had that quiet moment with God. I had made a conscious decision that I'm going to become a billionaire. That's when I made that decision. So if I had to go through that to go and be a billionaire, because that wasn't on my mind before, well, if I had to go through that, then I said, you know what? God never makes mistakes. Maybe he needed me to sit down because I don't take breaks. I don't take vacation. So it was a much needed vacation. And, you know, I'm telling you, like, we've been on fire. When we got out, I started a video game company where we got 5 games that will be out by 2021. Wrote a book while I was there and published it. That's doing well. Basketball league right before. I didn't lose not one single owner, and I didn't even have a long-term relationship with them because they know how I treat them. They know how I operate. So I'm just fortunate to have enough support. But that's why I knew when she said, man, I just want to make sure he's not being singled out. I knew at that point that I was going to write a book, and I was going to make sure that Tom wasn't serving me. I wasn't serving Tom, that Tom was going to serve me. And that's exactly what it's done. And right now I'm so laser focused that I have no time for foolishness. I have no time for doom and gloom. I didn't present you with doom and gloom. I was motivating people. I was paying for kids back to school, the guys that was inside the facility. I was paying for, probably a good 20 people. I made sure I sent them money to their families while I was in to make sure that kids had back to school. And I still send money to this day to take care of them because I've seen and I interviewed a lot of them, and I said, man, it's just so much injustice that's happening, but you can even complain about it and play the doom and gloom and even write a book about doom and gloom and want somebody to feel sorry for you, or you can turn up and turn it loose. And so my crew, we decided to turn it loose, and we're ready to go to a whole nother level.
That's such a testimony. It's funny how I was feeding into it. I was going to say, as an African-American entrepreneur, sometimes when you play on certain levels, and I've seen a lot of people that I've kind of knew personally, whatever, when they get to a certain level, they come after them. You know, I was at one time very much a friend of Nate Chapman and some other people. And sometimes when we get to a certain level, the game is not played the same way. And sometimes, it's not even like you're doing anything necessarily incorrect. It's like somebody will tell you this is the way the game is played. You give a donation here, you do this, you do that. And then we don't keep track. But when they come after you, they come after you for different type of vengeance. So I wanted to say, what have you found? Well, 2 things. One is you mentioned like God writing, giving to the community, but you talked about how you've given to those that have been in your life. So obviously you're a giver. And giving back not only just from a mentor and an entrepreneurial perspective, but also monetary, which I think is important. A lot of times, we say that we're givers because we give a speech, but sometimes that paper, that paper helps pay the light bill a little bit. You know what I mean? You can say, "Oh, let me give you the pep talk." You can do it. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play, but then I still got that light bill over here that I gotta pay. So a little bit of that scribbler goes a long way sometimes. So, it's a good thing, to do that. So I'll wrap up with my last question. And that is, when it's all said and done, when the book is closed, what do you want them to say about you and your career and what type of man you were?
Well, man, they're going to say something because they're going to be getting checks every month. And they think about my name because the way we set it up, I'm going to be on the fireplace. Like, man, he did the fireplace. I want
Not literally on the fireplace. They're not gonna stuff you and put you on the fireplace.
I want my picture on the top of the fireplace when they start talking about family meetings. Like, when did it change for the Vaughn family? And I want them to tell the whole story. I want my great grandchildren to remember my name. And the only way they're going to remember your name if you leave them something. And so the Kennedys, the Rockefellers, right? All of those folks that they've leaving legacies. And so it's more than just entrepreneurship. It's more than just having a business. It's about creating systems in place that people 8 generations down the line will be able to keep it up. And then that you don't just give money to certain people that won't be able to manage it, that you make sure, like my girls, you know, they're going to have to match my money. So they're not going to just get money. No, they're going to keep getting matches of the money. So when you do this, we're going to match it and give you this. And so we're not going to just give handouts. That's not what we practice. That's not what we preach. And so, no, I'm just excited. So, and then they're going to say, man, this guy created that legacy. I mean, he was one of the Black billionaires that were out in the marketplace, and we're working hard. And I just want to create a whole bunch of millionaires too around me. And I think, and I know we have the people, the supporting cast and the lead actors and directors in their own movies. And I'm just an extra in their movie. I'm helping them with certain things that I know that we're going to do well. Our mindset, we're too poised. And, you know, when you go away and you still have people, you know, sending you accountability reports and like you still on the street, man, I mean, it's beautiful. And it's just a testament of the people that in my life and in my corner. And I appreciate them tremendously for sure.
Well, I appreciate, like I said, like Impeccable said, this is a fireside chat. So I've enjoyed the conversation and talking. And, you know, I want to see if there are any other questions or if Impeccable and Dana have any. So I'm going to bounce past it back to them and see what's out there.
I appreciate it, bro.
Man. Hey, we got Michael. We got Reggie. You got your twin out there, Andrea. Oh, I got a sister named Andrea too. How you doing, Andrea? Oh, I call her Andrea. You might want to be called Andrea or Andrea. I'm not sure.
You said it right the first time.
All right. Drea. All right. And then we got Reggie too. And then we got Kevin English, Turn It Loose. We got a lot of Andre Vaughn fans out there. Man, you can get excited because during this doom and gloom moment, let me put a pin in real quick. You're watching on the Afro-American 128 years of informing, educating, and inspiring Black people, African Americans, Africans, all over the world. Before it was just in a certain area. One time they owned their own printing press way back in. It started in 1892. Yeah. If we popped up on your thread, hit the like button. Go to afro.com. Get a membership, get a subscription. We had to pivot too. Can't be on the street with newspapers, right? You're not even going in stores. You don't even want to touch things. You go in there with masks. Now we had to move the media. The media and the information still needs to happen. Like Andre said, if we was talking about WAP, right? You know, we say, okay, Meg the Stallion's gonna be on tonight. Boom, the internet's gonna blow up. But if we talk about generational wealth, we talk about unlocking our minds, we talk about not being ignorant about certain things that have to do with our family and business. One of our key things here we say is don't be selfish. Yeah. Don't just make all this money for you. But I like how you put a demand on your children, right? You put a demand. You just can't get this money and be super lazy. Yeah. You have to get to certain levels and unlock the wealth that's waiting for you. Yeah. And so when a lot of people went to the doom and gloom, people like, you know, F 2020, you hear them saying everything. And God has just turned everything off to say, hey, man, hey, knock, knock. Stop your life. You're going so much that you forgetting me. Yeah. And when he stops these $1 billion industries and you don't pay attention and you get into me, it's all about me and I can't anymore. And God is just saying, I'm that same God who's part of the Red Sea. See, at the family business, we don't put a basket over the light. We understand, like you're being a basketball team owner, who the MVP is. Yeah. The MVP of the family business is Jesus Christ. Wow. Now, you want to win. You want to win for 128 years. You want your business, your enterprise, whatever you got going on to win, your marriage, your relationship. Wow. Get your MVP together. You know what I'm saying? Get your team together so that you can win, not only in business. Business is just gives you this money, and you can't sleep with money. You can touch it a little bit, but what is it? It's an exchange. You know what I'm saying? It's an exchange. Okay, I'm gonna give you some money. You're gonna give me some food. You can give me some water. You can give me some business. You're gonna give me a service. That's all it is. Other than that, what's your relationship? You know what I mean? Is it just a resource with you, or is it the source? You know what I'm saying? And what kind of, so when you sow, and nobody is paying us yet to be on the family biz, but this is our seed that we sow into the community. This is our, they say the time, talent, and treasure. You know what I'm saying? It's not always about the money, but it's the seeds that we've sown over the years. And one of the most profound things, I think, Dre, you were in the huddle, like Tally said, you got pumped up. You stood on top of the chair, right? And you huddled everybody around. And you said, you know what? You go to school, to college, you pay all this money for 4 years to come out to get a job doing something you don't like. Now, this is how profound it is. I don't even know how many years this was ago that you said this, 10 years. And you said, you can't scrape up $4.99. You have a problem right now. You're checking your account. You might be using 2 credit cards to see if you can put $500 together, but yet you've given $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 to these institutions. And you still haven't focused on anything. You haven't focused on the purpose, and you can't see an opportunity. And network marketing isn't for everybody. Yeah. Because everybody can't, like you say, they can't click into another level because they still want to be dragged and they want the easy route out. I can't call you up, Andre, tell Tally and say, what's your dream today, buddy? You think I can do it for you? Would you like me to write your goals down for you also? Matter of fact, I'm going to roll you out of bed. Oh, did you forget to get up this morning? Let me call you again. Hey, everybody. Today is a new day. The sun came up. Should I roll you out of bed today and write your goals down one more time? Oh, you say you don't like the car you're driving. Okay. Dre was the first person with the Panamera. Not that we're saying that you don't get, you should get some kind of evidence that you're wealthy. If you're rocking with God, you shouldn't be, your shoes shouldn't be run over. Even if you have one good suit, just have that one good suit. We used to always talk and rock it. Wear some different shirts, put some different handkerchiefs or some pocket squares in there. But it should be an evidence that God don't want you to be poor or broke. I don't know. Whoever came up with that, that was a trick. That was definitely a trick of the enemy. I like how you said, just go sit in the rich restaurant, order some water. If you can't afford the salad, just get in the atmosphere. Put up in your mind in 2020 that I am never going to be broke again. I have worked, guys, for myself for over 25 years. Now, I work with other organizations because I add value to those organizations, and the organizations that don't see my value, I leave. Wow. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you need to do because the time is not, you're seeing these people die day after day, and it's sad, man. I was thinking about our Lon brother who passed away, and we had to watch him on the Zoom give his last breath and his last words. You know what I'm saying? And I think you experienced the loss, right? Recently. Yeah. As well, the same way. It's a different kind of time. You don't know what your time is, but your time today is a moment to change. And if you know entrepreneurs that are fired up, like these guys and these people watching and these people commenting, we won't get no sleep. You know what I'm saying? My wife looks at me like I'm crazy sometimes. Listen, and I still play Madden. I'm playing Madden, listening to these jokes. I'm listening to this sermon. I'm listening to Robbie Zacharias. I'm just getting information. I'm getting an information overload so that when it's time to put it back out, my mind is not on the news. I turn that news off. I can guarantee you, this is a fact. If something bad happens, somebody's gonna call you. They're gonna call you. You don't have to watch it come over the ticker on the news. They're going to call you and say, did you hear that so-and-so? And you're like, oh, man, either through a text, through social media, something's going to happen. But your dream, we're not going to roll you out of bed. Tally's not going to roll you out of bed. I'm calling Dr. Dr. Vaughn is not going to roll you out of bed. You got a doctor in motivating people now. You know what I mean? This is family, and it's good because iron sharpens iron. And you get a chance to be around people who are thinking in a different way. Don't stay around the same people that are thinking low. The low level people, they're gonna get low level things. The high level people are going to get high level things. So now after seeing your Panamera, I said, man, I want a Panamera. So that was 4 or 5 years ago. You know what I mean? And then what's the question that everybody who has a Porsche or who wants one, they ask you? How's your Porsche?
They don't care about you no more.
It's fine. It don't roll me out of bed, but it's fine when I want to go there. But you know, other than that, that's just evidence that okay, this is what God can do. It ain't about the Porsche.
Yeah.
But he's a king. You know what I mean? How many king's kids do you see living in the barn?
Wow.
Now, even they say, oh, the lowly Jesus was born in the barn, right? But that's because the inn was closed.
You know the crazy thing, Kev, is that I remember having a 79 Toyota Corona. Corona, not Corolla, but Corona, right?
Go with it.
And I remember having so much pride in that car because I didn't care. It was beat up and everything, but it was mine. Like I put value on anything that I own. I like put value. Smoke used to come through the man, come right through the stick shift. We had to change clothes, go to a place that smelled like smoke, but we did it well. The windshield wipers were broke. My man, he would throw the windshield wipers to me. I throw them back over because they were broke. We were living dangerously, but we still appreciated the small things, my friend.
Right, they don't know about the struggle.
Yeah,
I put a $300 Regal with AM radio. The ceiling fell down. You know, I had to put tape, but you know how something just falling in your head the whole time you're driving. I had a can of gasoline in my trunk that I had to pour in the carburetor for it to start. You know what I'm saying? But you get to that point, but that was your transportation.
Yeah.
You know, that beat, you know, our kids don't catch 3 buses to school anymore. They get driven to everything. You know what I'm saying? We keep saying it's a different time, but is it? Or is it just a different mindset?
Wow.
Is it a different mindset? We got Danella tuning in. I'm messing up people's names. I'm sorry. Maybe I need to put my glasses on. I can't even pronounce it. MAIGYN Walker. Thank you for tuning in. Renee Brown still hanging out with us. People who may be getting motivated or already motivated. We feel your energy. We feel your vibe. Your text motivates us. You know, just you, like it's like call and response, right? And our energy is good. So whatever it is that is burning inside of you to do, I wrote a book 4 years ago.
Yeah. Wow.
Now, did I market it yet? No. But this year, I'm gonna, you know, during the pandemic, I'm thinking about all the things.
Wow.
I have a watch line.
Wow.
Now I'm studying how to market online.
Wow.
Because they're not making any more real estate, y'all.
Yeah.
Even though you want to be in real estate, but guess what? The real estate for us is in the digital thing. Your IP address, that's real estate. How many IP addresses do you have? How many websites do you have? How many e-commerce sites do you have? That's the new real estate that we need to get a hold of. Now that's unlimited, right? That's unlimited. Name of my book is The 1 Hour You. Spend 1 hour a day working on yourself. Turn the TV off. Turn everything. If you want to watch it, just record it.
Wow.
Oh, I gotta catch it when the premiere is on. Well, when's your premiere coming on?
Wow.
When is your premiere coming on? You got me fired. I ain't talked this much, man. You motivated me to get motivated again. I call myself motivated.
Hey, go ahead, yo.
I was about to say, are you gonna give a scripture and what book you coming from? Because the book of Kevin Peck, chapter 8, verses 1 through 45.
Hey, Tally, I'll let you and him have a conversation for 30 minutes. I ain't say one thing.
I'm just ribbing you, boy. I'm just ribbing you.
Being quiet. See, this is what so y'all have now tuned in on the fraternity brothers who want to be billionaires, but they want to be billionaires, not to be billionaires, but we want to give the most in the kingdom because it's only a certain amount of shoes, cars, houses, things, places you can go. You know, and me and Dre, we've been to the Ravens game with our shirts on in the middle of the Falcon Stadium. Look, compliments of my wife. She said, "I know y'all like to go to the Ravens." She was like, "Here, boom." They're not playing for 4 years because they play every 4 years, but y'all can go to this preseason game. We would have thought that we were the biggest mouth people from Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? But man, you got to be inspired about something because you will put yourself in such a funk that you won't have a great day.
Yeah.
And then you'll die.
Yeah. Especially now, right?
Not having a great day.
Especially now because people are so down and depressed. This isn't the time to stop.
Yeah.
This is the time to fine tune and get motivated, learn some new skills, pivot. As we said, it's not the time to stop.
I haven't had as much fun since 2005. I promise you. Like the opportunities are coming at a rapid pace that you got to be like, I'm gonna do this. I know I can make money this, but I can't do this because I got to laser focus. And between just all of the video games and all of the things that we got going on in the network marketing company, which in this Bula Vida now I'm with, and it's just like, man, we are thriving. Health and nutrition and financial stuff. It's just so many things that people can get into. And so, I'm ready. We're ready to help a whole lot of people. And so, if folks,
I'm going to say thank you to you, Andre, because everybody can't go through a storm and share it.
Yeah.
Because in life, you get bumped. You know what I mean? Sometimes, or you make a bad decision.
Yeah.
I mean, or you don't intend to make a bad decision, or something. Life happens sometimes. But what happens to you? A pushback is I can't remember.
Setback.
A setback is something for a comeback. Look, it's coming to my mother, who is watching, will tell me in a minute, because she says that always. But take 2 steps back to come. After a while, all these motivation books, and they all run together.
You have to be vulnerable. Andre put it all out there, and not everyone's willing to share that. And then you kind of feel like if you have a setback, that you're not worthy, or you can't come back from that. But when you hear your testimony, that's motivational.
Yeah, because this is a world of likes. Everybody wants to like. Please like me. Like me. Say something good about me. And then the people who are cowards, they are on the comments being negative.
Yeah.
Say it to people in their face, but they'll get on these comments and they're on their social media and just be negative. But use social media called negativity.
Setback is your comeback.
There it is. Where it is.
That's partners right there. She got you.
Thanks,
there you go. Lakeisha, you right on it. See, I'm telling you, once you start to just
Dr. Draper, a setback is a setup for a comeback.
There you go. Boom. That's the one I was thinking about.
A set. Okay.
Hey,
preaching now.
Look, they on it tonight. They are 100% on. I think maybe the family biz, we just gonna have motivational speakers coming on because everybody needs.
That's my guy too, boy. Mark Fuller. That's another great one, man.
What's up, Mark?
Yeah.
Hey, everybody has it, man. Everybody has it. Life happens, but you can finish. By Dr. Pam Love in 2014. You can finish. The question is, will you?
Wow.
You know what I mean? Just like you can believe in Jesus. But the question is, will you? I mean, I'm going to put it out there for you. If you don't think the two are connected, you can let the stupid government keep trying to separate God from out of everything. And you see the trouble that they get on. But if you want to win in life and in business, you need to have God in the equation. I said it. That's right. And you ain't going to set me up. Kevin, you had all these weeks of the family biz to tell somebody something good about me.
Wow.
And you didn't. What light were you when you walked in your office, when you got on that Zoom? What light were you? What light will you be? Okay. So let's man, people are commenting. I don't even want to stop. But you know what? This is our show. It's not like NBC, like, Kramer's coming on next and we have to kick you off. That's the thing about it, folks. We gotta own our own thing. So we're gonna go final words because I miss you. I don't even know how many years it's been.
I know
since I've seen you in person. You know what I mean? I live in Atlanta. Well, yeah, maybe when you fly into Atlanta, usually like, what you doing? Are you in town? And sometimes we can catch up, and sometimes
you out of town. Most of the time, you out of town.
Hey, I ain't been out of town since March 14th. I ain't been home this long in 25 years. But I'm not complaining. I'm not like, God, the world is going to end. What am I going to do? Everybody is in the same boat.
Yeah.
But like you said, that sermon that you heard that got you from being a second grade teacher was coming out in the water.
Yeah.
Get out the boat. Get out the boat.
Yeah.
Get out the boat.
Yeah.
So final words. Final words,
man. I mean, just
hold on. You're gonna be last because
I'm last.
Close out the show.
And I'm gonna tell y'all the story. When he say he got so much input that it just comes out and then he wings it. I'm gonna just let you know he wings it with a purpose, though. Go ahead.
We started the show with the 7 aspects of a person that knows you have entrepreneurship in their blood. But in addition to those characteristics, we learned from Mr. Vaughn, Andre tonight, that you also have to have not just positivity, but you have to have humility. And so this vulnerability that he showed tonight is really inspirational, as I mentioned, and he really displayed some deep resilience. And that's what you have to have, that inner fight in you. But we realize from Impeccable, it's not just something that just happens. It's a commitment that you make every day. And so we really enjoy it. We appreciate your vision, and we realize that vision isn't just that you had this idea, but you were able to share it with others and help manifest it in others. So we really appreciate your message in this and what you've sparked tonight, and what you sparked not just online, but with us. So thank you.
And tell Tally, my brother.
Yeah, I think out of all of my words would be, and Andre talked about it a little bit, and this has been kind of my quote lately, and that was, are you able to tell somebody who your great-great-grandfather is? And most people can't, because their great-great-grandfather ain't do nothing for them. And I always say, even with the Afro-American newspaper, the reason you know who your great-great-grandfather is because he provided in 1800s the Afro-American newspaper, which has kept generations talking about it. And so when Andre was mentioning, I want my great-great-grandchildren, it just kind of sparked me. So I think I'm going to be doing some T-shirts. Say, do you know who your great-great-grandfather is? Can you answer who your great-great-grandfather is? And if they can't answer, it's because he ain't done nothing for him. He ain't leaving nothing. So, you know, or do you want to know who your great-great-grandfather is, you know? So, but no, I mean, I think that the important thing about it is generational wealth, and that we are, and again, I heard this weekend when they were talking about Chadwick Boseman, it's like we have to realize that we're passing through, and everything you're doing is going to be for somebody else that's coming behind you, whether it's your family member or all of us that are family. You know what I mean? Whether it's the humankind, African-American community, your personal family, or whatever it is. And so whenever you do it, remember that you're laying the ground for somebody else to walk, whether it's believing what you said, knowing they can do it. I mean, you know, they were saying that Chadwick Boseman was saying that he gave his acceptance speech, that when he got an opportunity to go to Oxford for a theater class, he didn't know, but Denzel Washington paid for it. And he paid his way to that class. And when he gave his acceptance speech for either Black Panther or Thurgood Marshall, he announced that and said that if it had not been for Denzel Washington paying for me to go to Oxford, that may have never happened. So we never know, like you said, we said at the beginning, the seeds that you're planting for somebody else. So those are my final words.
Absolutely. If you just tuned in, some of you been with us all night, and we thank you. You are on the Afro-American newspaper, which is now a media company platform providing information and inspiration and education to the generations before us and to the generations to come. 6 generations of giving the truth. You want to know what the truth is? Don't go to Bossip. Come to the Afro. They used to have a saying, you know, because you read the Afro. The same thing goes. We got the info. The Afro got the info. Anyway, Andre Vaughn, some people are given a gift to motivate and inspire others who have been given that gift. I remember being on one of the morning calls, and you were staying at the Marriott Airport, and you were all of a sudden you start saying, I'm sitting here in my hotel suite, and the planes are going up. And they're landing and they're going down. And each time they go up, they're taking some money up. And each time they land, they're taking some. You know, I remembered all this. But sometimes different people say things that hit you when you're looking for it. Because sometimes you're not seeking that information. So you're hearing all these good nuggets and you're just missing it because you're not really looking to absorb it. I just want to say thank you for what you've given, you know what I mean? And what you're going to give and all of the lives that you're going to change just by the gift that God's given you. And again, thank you for coming on to the Family Biz. And you always have a home here and at the Afro-American newspaper. And one of those things you might call me, because I said I was never doing network marketing again. Nothing against it, but I'm not rolling nobody else out of bed. I got tired of it. If the average was 2, look, I need about more than the average. Okay, the 2 couldn't get their 2. I could get my 2. I can get 4, but I can't keep waking you up every morning. I'm sorry, that just can't happen. So,
man, you never know. Well, I appreciate, you know, this has been a phenomenal live, and you know, I'm just excited. Your lovely wife, yourself, and Tal. I mean, you guys are family to me, and you know, I want people to wake up. I want folks to focus on, you know, what it is that you want, you know, and, you know, a lot of us were waiting on voting on the Democrats or voting on the Republicans when you need to be voting for yourself. I mean, you're your own government, and, you know, you have the ability to create this economy, this currency, I call it mental currency for you. And, you know, it's the responsibility of you for your children. It's not Donald Trump. It's not Biden or Harris. I'm not depending on any of them. I'm depending on myself because I have everything I need in myself to make it work for my whole family. And so do you. And so, guys, if you're inspired, if you want to do something great, you can just go to turnitloose.live and just say, what are you interested in? And if I don't know it and if I don't do it, I'll connect you with the right people. That's Turn It Loose. And I just love that turnitloose.live. I was watching Seabiscuit. And the crazy thing about Seabiscuit is that, you had 4 different people. You had a broken horse, a broken jockey, a broken trainer, and a broken owner that they all could have committed suicide. But when they got together, they created a championship team. And it's just time for all of us to get together. I know when you were in 2nd grade or 3rd grade, they taught you how to do things for yourself. I knew it was a reason why I cheated off my twin sister's paper. Doing it together. Please support the book project. It's on singledout.vip. If you're broken down health-wise, go to that turnitloose.live and just say health, business, video games. Go download the video games Wordtress. It's right on in Stick Bounce. It's right on the iOS store and the Google Play. I mean, we hitting them with everything. But you have a lot in it. You have to be the thermostat, not the thermometer. And it's just your time and turn to do something great. The world will never wait on you. And when you're a thermostat, you set the tone and the temperature. I just want the folks to set the tone and the temperature, support the Afro, go and get a membership, a subscription, tell Lottie Dottie and everybody, because we need to keep this legacy and this tradition going. So thank you for this phenomenal platform. I'm so fired up. I won't be able to sleep. I got the next 10-year plan together and make sure I motivate and inspire. And so all of the folks who joined us, thank you so much. Give these folks some love, likes, hearts, comments to the host of this show. It's a great platform, and we appreciate you.
Absolutely. And, if you want to come on and you got something to share, you got a business that can inspire somebody else to do something different in their life, hit up Andre. He'll hit up us. Go to turnitloose.live. One of the and we want to add that to it. Be a guest on the Family Biz. Turn It Loose. Anyway, until we hope to see you next week. The Afro has launched a brand new show, y'all, that comes out once a week on lunchtime. It's called The Chicken Box.
Wow.
Those in Baltimore, y'all get it. The first episode was Black People versus Fried Chicken. The next one was Black People versus the Rona. And coming up is Black People versus Trump the Trick. So, so that's the place where you can speak your truth. The Chicken Box, and you can also have a good lunch and have a good conversation. So until we meet again, man, God bless you, and roll yourself out of bed. All right, thank you.